All right, hey, part two of the best of 2012 travel pictures. Today we're going to look at West Coast type photography that I did last year. And first off, I want to talk about a subject, and that is how I kind of got good at photography. And that was I took pictures. Well, one of the parts, there's obviously many reasons, but one of the parts was I took pictures and then I showed friends, and those friends reacted to them. I didn't necessarily say, "What do you think?" because putting them on the spot doesn't always get their real reaction. Okay, so but I watched them creepily. No, I saw their expressions. I saw their reactions. I paid attention to what things they liked, and yeah, as I do that, I'll look through pictures. Boom, boom, boom. So yeah, I paid attention to their reactions, and I kind of made a mental note. I didn't necessarily say, well, I'm going to do that one again. I was always doing my own style. I was putting my own flair on things, but I wanted to know what made a good picture, and that just didn't I wasn't the sole proprietor of that knowledge. It's like it's not just me, but it is what makes people react. Okay, so this little thing that I'm doing is kind of just for fun, but it's kind of educational for me, and it's part of the life of a photographer, and that's what this channel is um, basically all the things that have to do with the life of a photographer, or aka me, and figuring out what the best of my 2012 are is part of that experience. And I am enlisting you guys into that experience. Okay, and I'm going to learn from it, and I'm gonna I'm getting something out of it this time. But you will too if you kind of follow along on these next week or two. Well, it's going to be a couple of weeks, because what I'm doing is yesterday I showed off my Southwest pictures, like Utah, Arizona, but it also had some Alberta, so kind of mountainous areas, and I called it the East of West because this is the West Coast pictures. All right, and some of them aren't loaded, aren't done previews, so I will go through them again and kind of talk about these pictures. What you need to do is to go online. Here, I'll show you. Go online to Jarvie Digital Photography here, and you go to this album, and you can look through the pictures, and if you like one of the pictures, hit like here or like here. Basically what you're trying to do is say, this one should move on to the next level. I have 5 different preliminary galleries, and that's the Southwest with about 100. The North, the West Coast has about 80. Bolivia will have about 100, and Europe will have about 100, and then Japan will have about 30, since I was only there for like 4 days. So go through there, do that awesome favor, and may be beneficial to you, and like the pictures you think should move on to compete against each other, like a little showdown. And you could do that here or on Google Plus, and I will have a link in the description of this video. And so you can click this +1, you can view them larger, and click this +1, and you'll be able to do that. The viewing experience is actually pretty good on both of them now. Facebook has stepped up their game. I think it's a little bit larger pictures on Google Plus, if that's what you like. So let's go back to these pictures, and they're all in chronological order. And those pictures that make it to the next level, I will speak more in depth about these pictures, settings, and some of the final ones. Once it gets past the preliminary and it gets to the final rounds, where we decide the best 50 or so, and then even lower, I will give photo stories about those pictures. Okay, so yeah, this was in San Francisco. And then this was another trip, the beginning of my Northwest tour, which was about 5,000 miles and about, I can't remember, 20 days of traveling. Um, this was in the Cascades, and then I went to Seattle on that day. Then went over to Bainbridge Island to visit a friend, and then spent a few days in Olympic National Park. And this is Olympic National Park, and so is this. And so I focused a little bit on wildlife and some of the mountains, and then I went to the beach a couple of times, and it was always cloudy. Dang it! And another beach one, and pictures. I should have done the preliminary previews of them, but now they're loaded. Waterfalls, there's a few of them there. And then this was just kind of like random. I stopped and took some pictures of wildflowers. I love them all, and there's 4 of them. You're going to have to help me, maybe even comment on them to let me know, like, this is definitely your favorite of the 4. And another day at the beach, and I have some black and white and color options, and if you could tell me which ones are your favorite between the two, color or black and white. I'm assuming actually color is going to be usually is going to win out, so just let me know if you think black and white wins. And I don't know why I put both of these. They're different pictures if you look at the reflection on the water. So, and that's what we're going, like which one happens to be your favorite there. Star trails, I don't do this very often, but hey, maybe someone really loves it and it should be in the mix. More wildlife, and you can go, lots of wildlife, huh? And then these mountain goats, they were pretty cool. We hung out with them for a little while. Then I made it over to Portland. Multnomah Falls, I believe is what it was called. This is just a random location in Portland. And then this, actually here, if you want to see the color, I just didn't know what to think. So if you watch the video and really think the color was a lot better than the black and white, let me know. And then let me know if I should keep it. I don't think it's going to make it to the next round. Just saying. This one probably won't make it to the next round too, even though it's cute. It's a little starfish. And then there's a few at Crater Lake. Actually, I thought I didn't have a very good experience taking pictures, but a lot of them made it to this final, or to this preliminary rounds, which I wasn't expecting. I mean, I was hard to do these long exposure night stuff because the wind was about 50 miles an hour, and then but the next morning was good. Okay, more Crater Lake, and then just random going out searching for hawks, and this was a cool experience. And so who knows, I'm not a bird photographer, so like what's the better bird picture? And then here I have this is how I actually took the picture, and then I cropped it to be a little more panorama. So which one do you like? Panorama's more in for you, and it's actually more in focus than this, but if you see down at the bottom it says loading because I didn't preload the preliminary. Okay, San Francisco stuff again with another option there. And then this is the only random person in there. It's not like a portrait shoot, it was a street performer. In the Bolivia gallery, you're going to see a lot of pictures of people. I did a lot of like market photography and people doing their thing. So I know that not all of them will make it to the final rounds. The people pictures won't, and they won't do as well in the final rounds because some of them are going to be sometimes we're going to be asking questions like which ones would you print. But it'd be cool to see some of them make it to the final rounds, even if they don't get too far. This is a trip to Vancouver I did for a wedding. So Vancouver again, and then up to Whistler, and then this is my next, my final trip that year, last year I should say. And this was a completely dark environment, but me and my nephews went out there, snowshoed out there, and lit it up. And then I then yeah, this one is definitely deserving of a good story of how it was made. And this one, it was cool lighting, but the trail kind of sucks, so I understand if you don't like it. It's probably not going to make it to the next round. But it was good testing for lighting. And then hang out with Devin for a day. We got a couple of cool pictures. And this is the Portland skyline. Okay, now pay attention to these four. They're all they're different, but it's the same, evening. So I don't know which one, or two. Definitely probably going to be two that make it from this because it was cool. This is Mount Shasta. So this is a horizontal. This is a vertical, and this is a horizontal with the clouds lit up from cities. And this is a vertical of it. Okay, a lot more stars in the vertical, but a lot more of the color in the horizontal. So you decide. And then when I made it to San Francisco, most of my trip was on 2013. So this is just the 2012 stuff. Okay, so you enjoyed some pictures. Now please go and let me know what you think. And follow along. This weekend I will be in southern Utah. So I'm going to release this one today. And then we'll let them disseminate throughout the weekend, and you'll come back, and I will start doing either Bolivia or Europe next, or Japan. Those are the three final ones, and then we'll put them together, and I'll do one last chance gallery. It's like, hey, these ones didn't make it. Are you sure? And then we'll start the final rounds, and that will be fun. And I'll be moving the final rounds to my main profiles, because there's a lot more people that follow my main profiles. Okay, okie dokie. Talk to you later. Bye bye.